Okay.
This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, let's start. Right. So yesterday we discussed about the looping statements in ABAP. We have seen while, end while, do, end do, and we understood the purpose of continue and what exit statement. Okay, continue and exit statement. Now, in continuation to that, let's see some other keywords like submit keyword. Okay, submit keyword. So the purpose of submit keyword is it is used for calling a program from another program. Okay, submit keyword is used for calling a program from another program. Okay, so for example, yeah, let me open this. So I'll go to ABAP editor. Right, so here let me open the last program. Program 8 is completed, so I'll do program 9. Okay, so this is my 9th program. Let me give the title as something program 9, some title. Okay, I'll choose the type of program as executable program. Okay, I'll choose the type of program as executable. Let me save it. Right, I'll save it in the local object. Done. So as part of this program, let me provide some write statements. So I'll use the write statement. I'll say inside program 9. Okay, or let me say begin of program 9. Okay, and here I'll say end of program 9. So I'm just giving some write statements. Okay, so when I execute this, syntax check, no errors, activate this. Done. So when I execute, when I say F8, I got the result as what? A begin of program 9 and what? End of program 9. Now from this program, I want to call the other program. Okay, I want from this program I want to execute other program. So what I'll do is in between these two statements, let me use a keyword called as submit. Okay, I'll use a keyword called as submit. Okay, and I'll give the program name as Z645 program 10. Okay, so I'm trying to call this program. I'm trying to call a program with this name. As of now, we don't have any program with this name. So what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to call a non-existing program. Okay, I'm trying to call a non-existing program. So let's see what happens. Let me save it. Check for the syntax error. Activate this. Okay, when I execute, when I say F8, it is taking some time. Done. So I got some runtime error here. Okay, I got a runtime error. Load program not found. Okay, what do you remember runtime error? During the execution of this program, during the execution of any program, if you get this screen, we call it as what? Runtime error. So what is the runtime error here? Load program not found. So you can see the short text here. Program Z645 program 10 is not found. Okay, so let us see what is the problem here. If I scroll down, let us analyze the error here. here on error analysis. Program Z645 program 10 is not in the library. So let me go back here. I'll go to SC38, go back to your program. So what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to call what a non-existing program. I repeat once again, we are in the 9th program. Okay, so from this 9th program, I'm trying to call what this 10th program, which is not available physically as of now. So whenever we try to call a non-existing program by using this submit keyword, okay, this execution leads to what? Runtime error. What is the runtime error we got? Load program not found. Program so and so is not found. So in order to execute this successfully, what you have to do first? First we need to create the program with the name what? Program 10. Then I can execute the program 9. So what I'll do is, let me develop this program 10. Okay, I'll give the program name as Z645 program 10. Create, provide some title. Let me give it as program 10. Type of program executable. I will save it in the local object. Done. Yeah. So here I'll just give a message, write begin of program 10. Okay, begin of program 10, and here I'll say write end of program 10. Okay, let me give some color. So already in the last week we have seen how to provide the color. So I'll say format color 3. Okay, so color ID can be what? Any number between 1 to 7. Each color ID will have what? Some background color. So format color 3, and here I'll say format color off. Okay, make sure that you activate this program. Okay, I can only execute, I can only call what? The program which are in what? Active status. So let me activate this. Check for the syntax error, activate. Done. So this is my program 10. I'll go back to my program 9. Done. So this is my program 9. So earlier when this program was not there, it was giving the runtime error. Now at this stage this program is available and it is in active state. So even if you double click on this, it is taking the control to what? Program 10, because it is available. Okay, so let me go back. I'll execute this 9th program. So 9th program is a source program. This 10th program is a target program. Okay, so when I execute, okay, what I got here, I got the result as what? Begin of program 10, end of program 10. Means I got the result from what? Target program. Okay, I got the result from the target program. Okay, so let me say back. I'll say back here. What is happening? Nothing is happening. But what is our expectation? When I execute this program, first it has to show me what? Begin of program. Execution starts from where? From the beginning. So my expectation is it has to print this string. Then we are calling the 10th program. It has to print these 2 lines. Then it has to print, it has to come back to the source program, and it has to execute the rest of the statements. But in this case, what is happening? When I execute, I'm getting the result, I'm getting the output generated only by the target program. What is the target program? A 10th program. So let us see how it is executing internally. Okay, so just try to understand. This is my program 9. Okay, and this is my program 10. Okay, so let me, this is program 9 and this is program 10. What are the statements I kept in program 9? I just gave some statement, begin of what? Program 9, and then I use some submit statement to call what? The 10th program. So I use submit program 10, and then use another statement, what? End of program 9. And in the program 10, what are the statements we are having? Begin of program 10 and end of what? Program 10. Okay, so they are the statements available in my target program, that is 10th program. So what we are trying to do here, uh, we are executing this what? 9th program. So the execution is starting from where? 9th program. So always the execution starts from the beginning. Okay, try to understand. Execution will start from here. So execution starts from here, done. So whenever I execute here, okay, what is the statement? First statement here, begin of program 9. So if you observe this begin of program 9, I enclosed in what? Write statement. Already we know write statement is used for displaying the result. So when it executes this statement, okay, I'll get the output here. So at the background, try to understand, at the background, it might have displayed what? Begin of what? Program 10. Sorry, begin of program 9. Begin of program 9. Done. This is my first one. Okay, this is the first statement. So let me put it like this. On execution of this statement, it will execute this one. Okay, so this is my first statement which got what? Executed. So it will display this result on what? LPS, output screen in ABAP. We call it as what? LPS, list processing screen. In C++, we call it as what? Console. Done. So this is the first thing I would have got on the output screen. Then you are saying what? Submit program 10 now. So when I say submit, what happens? Control jumps to, okay, control jumps to what? Target program. Whenever I say submit, control will jump to a target program. So this is my what? Second step. What is that second step? Control shifted to, okay, control shifted to what? Program 10. Understood? Control is shifted to program 10. Okay, this is LPS, output screen of which program? Program 9. Keep that in mind. So when I say submit, when the second statement is executed, control is shifted to the target program. So it will start the execution of the target program. What is the first statement here? Begin of what? Program 10. So again, this is in the right statement now. So what this right statement will do, again it generates some output. So assume that this is a output screen, LPS of what? Program 10. What is that output here? Begin of what? Program 10. So on the output screen, I would have got what? Begin of program 10. So this is my third statement which gets executed internally. After the control is shifted to the target program, this is a third statement which gets executed. Done. Then what is the next statement here? End of program 10. So again, this is as part of write statement. So I would have got the result as what? End of program 10. Okay, so this is my fourth statement which got what? Executed. Okay, so I'm just trying to put it in the pictorial format so that you can understand the flow here. So this is my what? Fourth statement which got executed. Right. So do we have any further statements in my target program? No. So the execution of the target program is finished. Once the execution finished in the target program, the control will remain in what? Target program. I repeat, when I say submit, control will be shifted to the target program. It will start the execution of the target program and executes all the statements one after the other. Once the execution of the target program is finished, once the execution of the target program is finished, the control remains in what? Target program. Means the control will not be returned back to what? The control will not be returned back to the calling program. So this is program 9 is nothing but what? Calling program. Okay, calling program. And this program 10, I'll call it as what? Called program, because we are calling this 10th program from what? 9th program. So this is a called program. So once a target program execution is finished, the control will remain in what? Target program. So what is the last output generated here? This one in a begin of program 10 and end of program 10. So we are able to see only what? This output. So the thing you have to understand is each program will have a separate output screen. We cannot merge the outputs of two programs. Okay, each program will generate its own LPS, its own list processing screens. Okay, so that's why this is the last output got generated. I am able to see only this one, and the control remains here only. That's what is happening here. See, when I execute this, I got the result from which program? 10th program. But internally, what happened? What has happened? It has executed this statement also. This statement also got generated at the background, but we are unable to see it because it will always show the last output generated by the latest program. What is the latest program here? Program 10. Okay, so if I say back here, nothing. I am unable to see anything. Let me try to debug this. I'll put the breakpoint. Okay, already we know how to do the debugging after activating your program. from wherever you want to start the debugging, put the breakpoint. I'm interested to start the debugging from the beginning, so I'll put the cursor here anywhere on the third line, and I'll say what? Set session breakpoint. Done. Breakpoint has been set. So I'll say F8. Whenever I say F8, whenever the breakpoint is encountered, the control is transferred to a debugging mode. So let me say F8. Done. So it has stopped at this particular statement. So we are still in which program? Ninth program. What is the current statement is about to execute? This write statement. Okay, remember we are in the ninth program only. So how do we execute one statement at a time in the debugging mode? Already we know we have to press what? F5. So when I say F5, it will execute the current statement. It will execute the current statement. So let me say F5. Done. So this write statement would have generated some output at the background. How do we check the output generated at the background? See, on the application toolbar we have a button what? Display list. When I click on this, what is the output generated? The background begin of what? Program name. That's what I'm trying to show here. It has executed this statement successfully. It would have generated some output. Begin of program 9. Let me go back to the debugging mode. What is the next statement is about to execute? Submit. Submit 10. So what the submit will do? It shifts the control to the target program. Do we have this program physically? Yes, the program is available. So the control is shifted to this particular called program. So when I say F5, done, it is internally going to some standard code. It is internally going to some standard code, standard program, which you need not debug. So how do you come out of the standard program? Just say F7. Just say F7. Okay, you need not debug the standard program. So to come out of that, I'll say F7. Done. So where is the control now? The control is in what? 10th program. So it has begin the execution of what? Called program. Done. I'll say F5. Done. Write statement. I'll say F5. So see here, this is the control is in the 10th program. So this will have separate output screen. What is the output generated so far? Begin of what? Program 10. Then let me go back, and next statement is what? End of program 10. I'll say F5. It might have executed that also. Yes, I got what? End of program 10. Understood? Now you can observe here. When I say F5, when I say F5, okay, again it is going to some standard code. Let me say F7 to come out of the standard program. Done. That's all. The control remains in what? The target program. So when I say back here, again it is going to some standard code. Just come out of that by pressing what? F8 or F7. Done. So what is happening here is, after finishing the execution of the target program, the control remains in the target program. The control will not come back to the calling program. That is the default behavior of what? Submit keyword. So what is the change I'll do? And you can see the execution here. If I execute, I am able to see the output generated by the target program only, not by the source program. So one small change I'll do is, instead of saying submit here, let me comment for your reference. I'll say submit, and I'll say and return. Submit and return. So when I say submit here, we know that control goes to target program. It will execute this program. Since I said and return here, what is the meaning of and return? Once the execution of the called program is finished, control should come back to the calling program. So after executing these two statements, control is returned back to the calling program. Control is returned back to the calling program. Understood? This is my fifth step. Returns control back to what? Program 9. So when the control is returned back to the program 9, what happens now? What is the next statement available? End of program 9. It will try to execute the rest of the statement. So it will execute this. Okay, so this again, this write statement would generate some output. So what is the output I would get here? End of what? Program. End of program 9. So this is what is the sequence of this step here? Assume this is sixth step. Okay, this is sixth step. So now let me check what happens here. See, when I execute, right, I'm able to see what? Output generated by the target program. Now when I say back here, what is the addition I used as part of submit statement? I said and return. So control goes back to what? calling program, source program. So when I say back here, F3 button, control is going back to the source program. It is showing me the output generated by the source program. End of program 9. Let me quickly debug this once again. I'll put the breakpoint in my 9th program in the first line. I'll say F8, done. Begin of program 9, F5. It has executed that, so I got begin of program 9. Then I said what? Submit 10 and return. So control goes to a target program. I'll say F5. Okay, just to come out of the standard program, say F7, done. So we are in the target program, 10th program now. It will execute this. I'll say F5, F5, F5. So this is the output generated by my target program, that is 10th program, done. And then since once the execution of this 10th program is finished, the control goes back to what? Calling program. So let me say F5. Again, it is going to some standard code. Just come out of this by pressing F7. Done. Right. Okay, so you can observe now control is coming back to what? The calling program. What is the output generated by the source program earlier? I got up to what? Begin of program 9. Okay, it will execute the rest of the statement, end of program 9. So I got the result. I got the result, end of program 9. So one thing you have to understand is we cannot merge the outputs of these two programs. Each program will have its own LPS, list processing screen. So the understanding should be submit keyword is used for executing a program from another program. Understood? By default, after executing the target program, control remains in the target program. In order to shift the control back to the calling program, we have to use the addition and return as part of our submit keywords. Okay, so any questions in this part, please ask me. Done? Okay, so if there are no questions, let us move on to the next concept. So what exactly is the purpose of submit keyword? We'll see now. Let me save it in your folder. One second. Done. Okay, so we understood that submit is used for calling a program from another program. Now let us see what is the actual usage of this particular submit keyword. Okay, right. So see here, we are done with what 9th and what 10th program. Now let me consider program 11 and program 12. Okay, try to understand. See, let us take a very simple example to understand the concept. See, my requirement is when I execute a object, I mean to say when I execute my report has to read two numbers from the user. It has to accept two input values from the user. Okay, based on the input values entered by the user, I need to perform some calculation. Assume that I need to perform some addition and display the result to the user. So what is the purpose of my object, the program? It has to read two numbers from the user as input, perform the addition of those two numbers, and display the result to the user. So it's very simple. I can do it in one program. But what I want is, I want to segregate this task between two programs. Understood? I want to segregate this task between two programs. So what I want is, suppose we have program 11 and program 12. Program level should concentrate purely on what IO operations. Okay, it should concentrate only on what IO operations means. It should concentrate on reading the input and generating the output. I repeat, program level should be developed in such a way that it should focus only on generating what screen for reading the user input and displaying the output for the user, only IO operations. And what this program 12 has to do, the actual business logic, we have to incorporate in what program 12, in the sense the actual calculations, whatever you want to do, what are the processing you want to do, that has to be carried out in what? Program 12. So I'm segregating the task between what? Two objects. One object will purely focus on what? IO operations. Program 12 will focus on the business logic. I can do everything in one program, but just we are trying to understand the purpose of what? Submit keyword. Okay. So program level, what it has to do initially, it has to read the input from the user. So what is the algorithm here? I mean to say, what is the business logic you'll write? Okay, first we need to read the input from what? User. Already we know how to read the input by using what? Parameter statement. Okay, otherwise let me do it practically, then we'll understand. Done. So 9 and 10 is completed. I'll say 11. Yeah. Some meaningful title I'll give. Okay, type of program is what? Executable program. Let me save it in the local object. Done. Yeah. So what this program level, the source program has to do, it has to focus on what? Input operations to begin with. So here I'll say, how do we accept the input from the user? By using a statement called as what? Parameters. So I'll say parameters. Okay, already we know it is recommended to start the parameter variables with what? P underscore. So I'll say parameters P underscore X type I. Okay, that is integer. I'll declare another variable, something p underscore y type I. So I'm reading two input values from the user. Let me default some values. How do we default the values? We use the keyword word default. Let me give something 10. I want to make this as a mandatory field, compulsory field. How do we do it? By using the addition called as what? Obligatory. Okay, means compulsory, the user has to provide the value. Let me give another value 20. I'll use this also as what? Obligate. Okay, so when I execute this, when I execute my program 11, already we know parameter statement will generate the selection screen. Yes, I got the selection screen where the user can input the values. How do we provide the meaningful text? Already we know. Choose the menu what? Go to text elements, selection text. Go to text elements, selection text. So I'll give them what? This thing as enter first number, and here I'll say enter what? Second number. Enter first number and enter second number. Let me activate the selection text. Control F3. Go back. Done. So when I execute, done. Right. So what should happen now? After providing some input values here, when I click on the execute button, okay, based on these input values, I have to do some addition. In which program? In program 12. Means whatever the values we are reading in the 11th program, I should use that values in the 12th program. Then only I can do the calculation. So what we have to do, see here, just observe. Okay, let me again put it as a pictorial format. See, the purpose of these diagrams is, again, in future we should not think what is the purpose of submit and return keyword. By looking at this, you should be able to tell the purpose. Okay, so since we are very beginning to ABAP, we are going with slow phase, right? So this is my program level. Okay, so what is the first step I am doing here? I am reading the input from the user. So this is the first step. What I am doing here? Read input. What is that input values I'm reading? Input values p underscore x and what? P underscore what? Y. They are the two input values I'm reading from the user. P underscore x and p underscore y. Done. Now what you have to do? These input values are stored in which variable? P underscore x and p underscore y. I should able to use. I should able to use these values in what? Other program. Okay, so already we know by default the variables declared in a program, okay, they are local to the program. Means I can these variables are available only during this program execution. Once this program execution is finished, the variables will be what? Destroyed. But I want to share these values across the program. So what I'll do is, as part of this 11th program, I will use a statement called as export. Export, try to understand, p underscore x2, export p underscore x2 memory id. You can give some identification. Let me give it as a1. Then similarly, I'll say export p underscore y2, okay, to memory ID. To memory ID, let me give the ID name as something A2. You can give any ID name. So what is the statement I'm using here? Export statement. P underscore X and P underscore Y to memory ID A1 and A2. So what is this export will do is, whenever we execute any program, okay, a memory will be available. That memory is called as what? ABAP memory. So try to understand. We have something called as what? ABAP memory, which will be available during the program execution. So assume this is your ABAP memory. Okay, so this memory we can access in the runtime. Okay, so what this export, what I am doing here, the second step, what I am doing, I am saying what? Export p underscore x comma p underscore y. P underscore x I am exporting to the memory ID A1 and y to what? A2. So in the ABAP memory, you will have some identification, some memory identifications. What are the names I gave for this A1 and what? A2. Any name you can give. So I gave it as what? A1 and A2. So what this export will do, whatever the values are there in this P underscore X and P underscore Y, that will be stored in what? This particular memory IDs, A1 and what? A2. Done. That is the job of what? Export statement. Hope it's clear to everyone. Understood? Export statement will store the values. Okay, we'll store the values in what? ABAP memory with some identification. So what is the identification name I gave here? A1 and what? A2. Done. It has stored the values. Done. Now what you have to do? We have to shift the control to a target program. So here I'll say in the 11th program, I'll say submit what? Z645 program 12, and I'll use addition what? And return. Why? Again, the control should come back to this program and it has to display the result for me. That's the reason I'm using the addition what? And return. So submit Z645 program 12. So already we know the purpose of what submit keyword. It transfers the control to a target program. So assume that I'm going to create another target program. One second, please. One second. Yeah, I'm going to create another target program. Assume that this is my target program. What is that? Program 12. Okay, so what is the statement here? This is your submit statement. Here we are saying what? Submit what? Z program 12. Something. Okay, submit Z program 12. Okay, and I use and return also. So no problem. So when I say submit, control will be transferred to what? The target program, something like this. This is my third step where the control is transferred to the target program. What this target program has to do? What is the job of this target program? It has to what? Take care of the business logic. Means it has to do the calculations and it has to what? Based on that input values, it has to do some calculations. So in order to do the calculation, it should access those values now. So what I am going to do now is, as of now, program 12 is not available. Let me create it parallelly. I have not yet finished the creation of 11th program, but let me create the 12th program parallelly so that you'll understand the sequence. It's not compulsory that I need to develop it parallelly. I can do it one by one also, but just to understand the sequence. So I'll open another session. Okay, I'll open another session. I can open up to 6 sessions. So I'll just click on create new session. It will open a new session. Done. So again, I'll open ABAP editor SC38. I'll give the program name as 12. Something. Some title I'll give. Type of program is what? Executable program. Done. Right. So just try to understand what this 12th program has to do. It has to take care of the business logic. What is the business logic? Based on the input values, it has to perform some calculation. So in my source program, what are my variable names? Where the input values are stored? P underscore X and what? P underscore Y. So what I have to do in my target program also, I need to take same variable names. Compulsory, I need to take what? Same variable names. So I'll say data. I am not using parameters boss here. Why? parameter statement will generate what? Selection screen. Okay, selection screen is for reading the input. So again, I don't want to use parameters, right? Already we have read the input. Just I want the what values to be referred in the target program. So how do you declare a normal variable? Data, but make sure that the variable names are same. What are the variable names are there in the source program? In the target program also the names must be same. So p underscore x type I, okay, and p underscore y type I. So I declare two variables in my target program, but these variables should contain the values imported from ABAP memory. Na? Already these values are maintained in the ABAP memory with what identification A1 and what A2. So now I need to read the values from the ABAP memory. Earlier, to write the values to the ABAP memory, we were using a statement called as export. Now in my target program, I'll say import what? P underscore x from what? Memory ID. Import P underscore x from memory ID. What is this? A1. And then again I'll say import P underscore y from what? Memory ID. What is the identification name? A2. So import statement will read the values from the ABAP memory referring to that memory ID. So when I say submit here in the target program, when I say in the source program, when I say to submit 12, control goes to the target program. What is the first statement in the target program? I'm importing the values. So now what is the sequence here? What are the values are maintained in this ABAP memory? They will be imported to what? They will be imported in my target program. So here we are saying what? Import p underscore x comma p underscore y. Understood? I am doing some importing here. From where? From the ABAP memory. So something like this, it will be imported. The values will be what? Imported. One second, let me put it properly. Yeah. Okay, so something like this, they will be what? Imported from what? ABAP memory. And those values will come and sit in what variables? P underscore x and what? P underscore y. What the target program has to do now? It has to do the calculation. Na? So for storing the result, I require one variable. Na? So let me declare another variable in my target program. So somewhere here, I'll give a variable name as v underscore z, some name. Generally, the variables declared by using data keyword, we start with v underscore. But why I give p underscore here? Because the variable names in the source program are what? P underscore. That's the reason here also, since the variable names must be same for doing that import and export, I'm using the names with what? P underscore. Otherwise we generally start with v underscore. Done. So what I'll do, the values are imported from the ABAP memory and those values are stored in which variables? P underscore x and P underscore y. Now I'll do some calculation. V underscore z is equal to P underscore x plus P underscore y. I'm doing some addition here. Done. So this is my next step in my target program. What is that step here? Fifth, what is that? Some calculation we are doing. Some calculation. Okay. Okay. Where is that calculated result is stored inside v underscore z. Now, who has to display the value of this result? By the source program. The output operation should be taken care by program level. Means whatever the value is there in v underscore z, I should able to access this value in my other program. So what I have to do? I have to export this value to what? ABAP memory. So here in the target program, after doing the calculation, also what? Export v underscore z to what? To memory ID. Some identification I'll give it as something what? A3. Export v underscore z to memory ID A3. So what happens now? After doing the calculation, the sixth step that I am doing is what? What? Export what? V underscore z. So what this export will do? It stores the value in what? ABAP memory. So I'm referring to one more memory ID here. Assume the memory ID name is what? Something what? A3. So we are exporting this value from the 12th program to what? ABAP memory. So this is my next step. So the value will be exported to the memory ID with the identification what? A3. Done. Okay, so my target program job is completed. What my target program is doing? It is importing the input values from ABAP memory it is doing the calculations based on the imported values, and that calculated value again it is stored in what? ABAP memory, so that it is accessible by what? Other program. So let me activate this program. Once my development is done, let me activate this. Save, check it, activate. Done. It is activated. Now let me come back to what? The source program. Here I said and return. So already we know once the execution of my target program is finished, control comes back to what? What? To the calling program. So here, assume like this. The seventh step is what? Return. Means the control will be written back to what? Calling program. So here the control returns back to what? Calling program. Something like this. Done. So the control is written back to this one. What this calling program, source program has to do, it has to display the output to me. So where the value is stored in the ABAP memory, what is the variable name? V underscore Z. So I'll declare a variable here. Understood? The variable name should be same both in what? Source and what? Target. So what is the value where the calculated value is stored? V underscore Z. That's why in the source program also let me declare V underscore Z type I. You can observe one thing here. If you take C language, the variables must be declared at the beginning of the program only. But whereas in ABAP, I can declare the variables anywhere in the program. It's not compulsory that I should declare all the variables at the beginning. Wherever I want, I can declare. But good programming practice is you better declare all of them at a single place. So V underscore Z type I. I declare the variable. What this program has to do now? It has to import the values now. So here I'll say import what? V underscore Z from what? Memory ID. Import V underscore Z from memory ID. What is that? A3. Import V underscore Z from memory ID A3. So we're importing that value. So something like this. So control is written back here. What you are doing here? We are assume this is 8th step. What you are doing? Import what? V underscore Z. So whatever the value maintained in this memory ID, that I'm importing to what? My particular variable what? V underscore Z. So assume this is your 8th step. Done. Okay. After importing the value, I need to display it now. How do we display it? By using what? Write statement. So here let me give a string sum of what? Two numbers is what is the variable? V underscore what? Z. The result is stored in what? V underscore Z. So already we know. So this is my 9th step here. You are saying what? Right. I'm trying to display the value of what? V underscore Z. So already we know write statement will generate a screen called as what? LPS, list processing screen. This is output screen of what? Program 11. Okay, so the write statement will generate the result on the output screen. Something like this. Sum is so and so. So whatever the result is that I am displaying in my output screen. So when I execute this, so already my target program is active. That is 12th program is active. Let me come back to my source program. Let me activate this also. And so both the programs are ready now. Both the programs are ready. So let me execute this 11th program, that is source program. So just observe here, when I execute, it has generated the selection screen because of the parameter statement. I'll provide some input values. Done. Some input values. I'll click on execute. I got the result. But I don't have a feeling here that internally two programs got executed. But actually what is happening internally, two programs are exchanging the data. Understood? So when I execute, I got the result. So as a user, I am not aware of that. But internally, two programs are exchanging the values. Okay, let me debug for your reference. See here, I cannot debug variable declarations. So let me put the breakpoint somewhere on the 6th line, export statement. I'll put the breakpoint. So 11th is my source program, remember. So when I say F8, done, enter first number and enter second number. I'll enter some input values 88 and 20. We are in which program now? Still we are in the source program 11. So when I execute, yeah, you can observe now we are in program 11 only, right? So what are the input values I read here? P underscore X is 88, P underscore Y is how much? 20. Okay, done. I'm exporting these variable values to the ABAP memory with what identifications A1 and what A2. So see, we cannot see this ABAP memory. It is only our visualization that during the execution of the program there is one memory available called as ABAP memory. Okay, this ABAP memory can be accessed by what? Multiple programs involved in the execution. Okay, so when I say FI, it has exported this value to the ABAP memory with the identification what A1. I'll say F5. It has exported. Still the control is in what? 11th program. Since still we are in the source program. So what the source program has done so far, it has read two input values and stored those two input values in the ABAP memory. Now I'll say submit. When I say F5, control be shifted to what? Target programs. Let me say F5. Then it is going to some standard program. Before going to the target program, internal is going to some standard program which you need not debug, which you need not understand. Just say F7 to come out of this. Okay, right, the control is in the target program now. Done. So in the target program we can observe here, if you see p underscore x, it is 0, p underscore y is 0, v underscore z is what? 0. By default integer contains what? Zeros. Okay, so when I say F5, done. I am trying to import. I am in the target program, remember. Okay, I am trying to import now. Okay, so here I'll say import p underscore x. So whatever the value maintained in the ABAP memory in the identification A1, that value will be imported to my variable p underscore x and p underscore y. So when I say F5, done. What is the value I got? 88, right? I'll say F5. Yes, I got 20. Done. Then I'm doing the calculation. F5 v underscore it is 108. Still we are in the target program. Now I'm exporting this 108 to the ABAP memory with the identification what? A3. Once this 12th program, once the target program execution is finished, what happens? Control goes back to the calling program. Why? Because when I'm using submit there, I used and return. And return means we have instructed SAP, you execute the target program and return the control back to what? Calling program. So when I say F5, it has exported the value to what? ABAP memory. Done. See the control now where it is coming? To the calling program, to the 11th program. If you see in the 11th program, v underscore z is still what? 0. So after control is shifted back to the calling program, we are importing that value from the ABAP memory. So when I say F5, I got the value 108, and when I say write statement, it would have displayed the output. Sum of two numbers is 108. Am I clear? So the main thing you have to focus here is when I execute, I don't have a feeling that two programs are executed internally, but internally two programs are exchanging the data. So how do we exchange the data between two programs? Means with the combination of what? Submit, export, and what? Import. Submit, export, and import. With all these three keyword combinations, we can exchange the data between what? Two programs. So any questions, please ask me.
Sir, one question from Partho here.
Yeah, tell me.
See what happened whenever you execute the submit button, there is a standard program is calling. So just I wanted to know what the reason, even though we have not mentioned anywhere that standard program, why it is calling during that time.
See, submit program will have some logic, na? Will have some logic. Okay, so the logic for that submit keyword might be built by SAP in some program, right? See, I'm saying that submit keyword is used for what? Shifting the control from one program to another program. Just like that, it will not shift, no? There should be some logic behind that. Okay, so that logic they might have written in that particular standard program. So as a developer, I need not worry about which standard programs are getting executed internally. I need not understand what is the logic behind the submit. Our concern is we have to check whether it is getting executed or not. Understood? So without our knowledge, many programs are what will get executed internally. Understood? Here also, when I execute, when I say F8, okay, I am getting a screen. Just like that, I will not get the screen. SAP might have written some logic for the parameter statement, okay, to generate that particular screen. So internally they get executed. Okay, so even though you are not calling that standard programs explicitly, they get called internally whenever you are doing a task. Okay, so when I say F5 here, it is going to some standard program. Okay, understood? It is going to some standard program. We need not understand this, and we cannot understand. First of all, don't ever try to understand standard program. Not at all required. When you come to enhancements concept, at that time I'll tell you how to plug the additional code. But otherwise, don't try to understand the built-in code. Okay, some code is there which we are not concerned. Just to come out of this code, just say F7. We are concerned with only our code. So make sure that the control is there in our program. Not only here, many places going forward, without our knowledge, the standard programs gets what? Executed, because the logic behind those statements might be written in some standard program. So SAP has to execute that logic. For that reason, it will call the standard code internally.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Srikant, answer to your question is, yeah. See, the lifetime of this ABAP memory, is for that particular session. The lifetime of this ABAP memory is for that particular session. In the sense, once you come out of that session, okay, the values maintained in that ABAP memory will be destroyed. Again, if you start a new session, a new ABAP memory will be created. Just to show you that point. So as of now, let me execute the 11th program. Try to understand. I'll give this value as 100. I'll give this value as 200. Okay, so what is the result? I got 300. So what is the current value of v underscore z in the ABAP memory? 300. Na? Now what I'll do is, I'm in the same session. Remember, I'm in the same session. So just to show you that, okay, I'll write some program. Don't worry about this. It's a new program, but it is in the same session. It is going to be executed in the same session. So what I'll do in this program, I'll say data v underscore z type I. Okay, I'll say import v underscore z from what was the memory ID? A3. Okay, done. I'll say write v underscore z. So this program is nowhere related to the 11th and 12th program. The only relationship is this program is also getting executed in the same session. So since it is getting executed in the same session, this program also can make use of this particular ABAP memory. So what is the last value maintained in the ABAP memory for the variable identification A3? 300. So when I execute this, my expectation is I should get 300. If everything is fine, I should get 300. Good. I got what? 300. Done. Now let me go back to my 11th program. What is that? Z645 11th program. I'm executing my 11th program. I'll enter something 150 and something 340. Execute this. What is that value? 490. So the current value of that memory ID A3 for this V underscore Z is what? 490. Okay. Now let me go back to the other program which I developed just now. Yeah. In this, if I execute this, what is my expectation? I should get latest value. What is the latest value? 490. Done. I got what? 490. So working fine means other program also is able to access that memory, because the other program is also getting executed in the same session. So this ABAP memory is what? Session specific. Now what I'll do, let me, so the last value is what? 490. Na? I'll just close this. I'll close the sessions. I'm logging off. So once I log off from the session, what happens? The ABAP memory gets what? Destroyed. The ABAP memory gets destroyed. Let me relog in now. It's a new session now. On behalf of this new session, a new ABAP memory gets created on the execution. So now I'll execute this program. So in the last execution, I got the value as what? 490. Okay, but I exited from that session. So what is the understanding? ABAP memory would be what? Destroyed. Would be destroyed. So now when I execute, I'm expecting the value as what? 0, because the ABAP memory got destroyed. Previous values will not be there. So when I execute, good, I got how much? 0. Okay, so what is the understanding here? ABAP memory is what? Session specific. Okay, session specific. Okay, it's not program specific. If other programs also are using the same memory IDs, but if it is within the same session, the values will be overwritten. Okay, if other user definitely will log into a new session na, so in that, if he uses the same memory ID, that values will be unique to that session. Understood? The values will be unique to that particular session. Shrikant, I hope you got the answer. If other user also uses the same memory ID, but if it is within the same session, what happens? You'll have the what values will be overwritten, but the other user will definitely will have its own session. Na? So even if you use the same memory ID, the values will be unique to that session. Okay. So the lifetime of this ABAP memory is what? Session specific. Once we come out of that session, the ABAP memory would be destroyed. Once you relog in and when you start the execution again, a fresh ABAP memory would be created for that particular session. Any other doubts, others? Right. So this is about what? Import, export, and submit keyword. Done. So if you don't have any questions, I'll wind off for today. We'll continue tomorrow with other feature. So this week also, we will try to understand the basic things. What is what? Okay. Actual usage we'll start discussing when we go to internal tables and other concepts. Okay. So till that time, we are trying to understand the different keywords which are very frequently used in ABAP programming. Okay. Done. Manika, any questions? Manika, Shivani, Nilima, Chinna, Syed. Done. Okay, so I'll wind off. We'll continue tomorrow. Chalo. Right, so I'm winding off. We'll continue.